Hey guys! Welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. All the details are in our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share before we jump in. Thank you so much. In the swirl of celebrity talk that never seems to slow down, one curious detail has set the spotlight squarely on Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir. A fresh claim about Demet, beloved for her talent and the luminous energy she brings to every project, has left fans buzzing. According to whispers that started in small circles and suddenly caught fire online, the surname Akbaba appears on her official identity documents. That single word, attached to the idea of Demet's true legal name, ripped through social platforms and landed the couple right back at the center of the conversation. As the claim trended, people began asking the same questions in different tones. Why had Demet never revealed such a detail? Was it a simple preference, or a protective measure? Those who have followed her closely for years know she is careful, selective, and deliberate about how much of her private life she shares. Even when her chemistry with Can lit up screens and turned a fictional romance into an enduring real-life connection, she kept boundaries clear. She spoke about acting, about growth, about craft, always steering away from the kind of confessional interviews that others might lean on. So, in a way, the rumor suited what fans already understood. Demet chooses what the world sees, and she chooses it with intention. What the rumor suggested, though, was specific. If the name on her documents is truly Akbaba, then the name that fans know her by is, at least partially, a professional choice. Her supporters immediately ran with a familiar argument: stage names and adjusted surnames are as common as camera lenses in this industry. Many performers make small changes, simplify a tongue twister, or streamline a family name to build a clear brand. Semantics become strategy, and identity is curated just like a role. Could Demet have done the same all along, simply separating her personal heritage from her public persona so that the work, those performances that made audiences fall in love, remained the headline? Demet remained silent as the rumor grew, and that silence did what silence often does in the digital age: it echoed. Meanwhile, Can stood firm in his usual way, saying nothing publicly but appearing steady, focused, and determined to keep his own projects moving forward. Observers noted that the pair had weathered louder storms than this. From their breakout days to the waves of speculation that followed them everywhere, they learned to nod politely at the noise while keeping their eyes trained on what matters. Fans quickly stitched together compilations and comments that read like a chorus. No matter what the surname says, Demet is Demet, and the talent speaks for itself. Into the swirl came a broader debate that felt familiar to celebrity veterans. The power of a name, the feeling a surname can evoke, the way a simple word at the end of a first name can shape perception, these things are not trivial in show business. Columnists noted that a distinctive surname can make you memorable, while another can be difficult to pronounce across borders or mixed up by algorithms. Some suggested that Demet's rumor-supported choice could have been purely practical, especially as her career grew beyond a single market. Others believed it was about shielding family members from intense public scrutiny. And of course, there were the romantics who framed it in terms of her and Can, two people who learned the hard reality that love in the limelight needs a few secret compartments to survive. For those who've admired Demet's discipline from the start, the idea that she might use a different legal surname isn't a scandal, it's a footnote. She has always wanted to be the kind of artist defined by roles, not rumors. Think of the restraint in her interviews, the quiet dignity when the conversation turns personal, the penchant for letting a character's arc be the loudest statement in the room. Meanwhile, Can, with his commanding presence and intense work ethic, matches that energy in his own way. If she embodies subtlety, he often channels momentum. Together, they balance each other. It makes sense that in matters of identity and privacy, they would coordinate, choosing what stays sacred, what remains unmentioned, and what goes on record. Still, the word Akbaba refused to die down. Was it a family line she preferred to keep low profile? A branch of her story she never planned to bring to the stage? Comment sections swelled with takes. Some users wrote that they were simply intrigued by the glimpse behind the curtain. Others insisted that the discovery changed nothing, They fell in love with the grace she brings to a scene and the electricity that often sparks when Can steps into the frame beside her. That kind of presence can't be edited by a surname. As one fan put it, a name is a label, the art is the truth. Even so, the chatter had an inevitable effect. It refreshed interest in the couple's trajectory, their beginnings, and how they have navigated each rising tide of attention. Editors ran throwback sidebars, tracing the timeline of their on-screen partnership growing into a connection that continues to capture public imagination. Analysts added that a strategic name choice at the start of a career can be a foundation, not a mask, especially for a woman in a business where consistency is a currency. The idea of Demet curating her public-facing identity while protecting the private pieces felt, to many, both savvy and humane. Then came the waiting game. Would Demet or Can post a statement? Would there be a quick live stream to end speculation in a few sentences? Days passed without a word. The silence was almost theatrical, a reminder that not every rumor deserves a response, and that sometimes, non-response is its own powerful script. Rather than feeding the cycle, they went about their days. A rehearsal here, a set photo there, a glimpse of purpose in every candid. When asked about it indirectly, those close to the industry shrugged. They had seen this pattern before, where a small biographical nugget spins into an oversized headline and then dissolves once the next project arrives. But the debate about identity and the couple's boundaries kept the entertainment pages warm. On talk shows and podcasts, commentators argued about what celebrities owe the public. Some sided with curiosity, saying that in the give and take of fame, details like surnames feel harmless. Others drew the line, pointing out that taking control over how one is presented can be the difference between a long, grounded career and a short, chaotic one. For Demet, it aligned with the version of her fans already know, thoughtful, controlled, selective. And for Can, it dovetailed with a philosophy he has displayed many times: keep your efforts on the craft, let the rest be noise. Within fan communities, a second wave of messages appeared, this time with a more tender tone. Nostalgic edits, slow-motion scenes, old interviews where laughter filled the space between questions, these resurfaced as if to say that the essence of the couple is not threatened by a bureaucratic revelation. If anything, the rumor added a strange intimacy to the conversation, reminding everyone that behind the glitz, celebrities juggle paperwork, families, history, and decisions they hope will keep their lives intact. The idea that Demet chose a specific way to sign herself, and that Can quietly supported that choice, turned into a portrait of trust. Meanwhile, the claim's origin remained murky. No clear source stepped forward, no verifiable document surfaced in public. The rumor felt like a snapshot from a distance, compelling enough to talk about but too fuzzy to frame. That ambiguity invited all kinds of stories. Some imagined a turning point at the very beginning of Demet's rise, where mentors advised her on presentation. Others pictured a simple, private decision made with family long before fame ever entered the room. In each scenario, the intention sounded the same: honor the work, protect the heart, and carry on. What cuts through, despite the noise, is the couple's consistent focus. Projects continue. Scripts are read and refined. Training sessions are logged. Fans show up not just for the fire between them, but for the craft each one brings on their own. That's why, even as the surname rumor gathers clicks, most supporters refuse to let it overshadow what they value. In their comments, you can hear the refrain: whatever her legal surname says, Demet's voice belongs to her, and the partnership she's built with Can is anchored in talent, discipline, and years of shared experience under a relentless spotlight. The industry's veterans all say the same thing: names are tools. They carry pasts, yes, but they also carry futures. The right one can open doors, the wrong kind of exposure can slam them shut. If Demet's documents do Barack Baba, then the choice to stand publicly behind another configuration is neither mysterious nor deceptive. It is strategic, sensitive, and deeply normal for someone whose every movement is recorded and replayed. Framed this way, the rumor becomes less of a revelation and more of a reminder that celebrities are people designing workable lives in impossible circumstances. Of course, gossip is not built to sit still, and the couple knows that better than anyone. The story will crest and dip, then drift, replaced by the next headline. Whether Demet eventually addresses the murmur with a single, measured line, or leaves it behind with quiet grace, doesn't change the equation for those who have watched her grow. It doesn't change it for Ken either. Their reputations were not minted by a surname, they were forged by performances that stuck, by scenes that made audiences forget themselves for a while, by the palpable faith they seemed to have in one another's path. So here we are, waiting to see whether a post appears, whether a publicist's email surfaces, whether a calm, unbothered statement shuts this down in a blink. Maybe that moment will come, and maybe it won't. If it does, it will likely read the way their best moments do, understated, precise, kind. And if it never comes, that silence will serve as an answer of its own. Either way, the rumor has done something curious. It has reminded fans why they cared in the first place. Not because of the letters at the end of a name, but because of the spark these two carry when they work, when they share a frame, when the room seems to bend toward them. Until then, the talk will continue, the comments will stack up, the clips will keep circulating. The couple, for their part, will keep moving. A new role. A behind-the-scenes rehearsal. A late-night script polish. The life of artists who have learned that the truest response to a rumor is to outpace it with art. And so the pages keep turning, one project at a time, one slow burn moment after another. Whether Akbaba is inked where only officials can see, or whether it's a mirage that the internet conjured for a few restless days, the feeling remains unchanged. Demet's work speaks louder than any document, and Can's steadiness frames it. That is the story that endures. We'll be watching closely if a statement appears, and we'll be right here to break it down with you when it does. For now, the gossip machine hums along, but the couple's reality is quieter and more determined than any thread can capture. If you enjoyed our video, please subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets and share it with your friends. See you next time.